But speaking of investments, a new feature that you're largely responsible for the release of in Savvy Trader uh, to address a lot of questions that come up, because people ask me all the time, like, what is the drawdown of the portfolio, or what's the Sharpe ratio, which I still don't know what that even is, or the risk factor, or
Don't
can
tell people that. Say, I totally know what that is.
yeah, well, I mean, I get the concept
Yes,
that,
yes.
but if I can't calculate something on my own very quickly, then it's probably too complicated for me to take it into consideration from an investment standpoint. But um, people have been asking for all kinds of statistics, and then you came up with a major update for Savvy Trader that shows all the statistics. You want to pull it up real quick?
Yeah, let me
Because I love these.
I'm gonna switch to your portfolio because we all know that's what people really care about.
The analytics
So,
tab, yeah.
yes, so we
This is
have a
super
brand new
cool.
tab. Yeah.
So,
Do you wanna run through it?
well, I'll run through like my favorite things on here. The monthly returns section is beautiful because it shows, like since April of 2022, which is when my portfolio first went live. Like the ups and downs. And what's funny is that, I created Savvy Trader to show that like my historical performance was for real. And you can see like that first year, it was like awful for my portfolio because no one believed that I had like, historically for the previous 20 years, I had like 30% annualized returns. And when I would tell people that, nobody would believe me. People who understood what that meant didn't believe me. And then people who didn't know that that was a big deal. And then that first year I had like negative 12%, and it's like shows it, month by month.
Yeah.
It was pretty hilarious. And that was the launch of Savvy Trader. It's like, oh, look, you can see my portfolio and how bad it's doing, how I'm burning cash. But then starting the next year, like you can see month by month how it has done. And then 82% for the second year, like 2023, 104% 2024, 101% 2025. And then this year we were down 18,
Yeah.
19% just a couple months ago. And then now all of a sudden, what a turnaround because of Micron and Rocket Labs. It's
Insane.
up 27% year to date. So that's my favorite, the monthly returns. And then the daily activity is kind of interesting, but like not, doesn't really add anything in my opinion.
So the
Scroll
to
scroll
me
down.
to well,
Oh,
to me, the
go ahead.
daily activity, what that shows, if you're because basically majority of the analytics tab on Savvy Trader, you can see on anyone's portfolio. You don't have to be subscribed to them. So it's a good way to like suss out if this is a portfolio that you should follow. So the daily activity section is a great way of seeing, are they the type of investor that you align with? Are they too
Mm,
active? Are they not active enough?
right.
Or maybe if you have a portfolio on Savvy Trader, it's a good way to put up a mirror and, if you think you're a long-term investor, but you're actively going in and out of stocks, then maybe you're not so much a long-term investor. In this
You're
case,
right.
you're just constantly buying, the stocks that you already own, but
Or selling the
or
ones
selling,
that
yeah,
like slowly, buying slowly
right.
and selling slowly. Yeah. But the
And
number of trades is kind of small. There's some
yeah,
additional stats on the left there, but
yeah, and we do show like you on average you do 7 trades a month.
yeah. I thought these stats were pretty cool. And then scroll down, there was something else that I love the drawdown one. The correlation the correlation one is kind of like in my opinion, but I'll let you talk
So
about it if you want to. But the max
okay,
drawdown is
yeah.
super interesting because this is sort of like what's the worst that the portfolio has done, and this is like pretty cool because you can see that my portfolio has been down as much as 30%, and that was roughly around April of last year when the tariff
Mhm.
things happened, and then but even cooler is that you can compare that to the S&P 500, which is pretty cool. So if we do, you can kind of see what's the worst of the S&P 500, about 20% drawdown around the same time frame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
19%.
19% versus 30%. So you can kind of see like how does this compare to like the S&P 500 and stuff, or a portfolio, not necessarily mine, but so I thought these analytics were a great ad, Dustin. Great job. And if you want to
Thank
talk
you.
about the correlation, feel free.
Yeah,
But
I'll talk about a couple of things. So max drawdown, I don't think we ever talked about it, but you I built this widget and then you were like, "Oh, it'd be great if we can compare the S&P." And then I was like, "You know, it would be even better if you could compare anything." So
oh,
you can compare any stocks drawdown. So like I'll give a more extreme example, like Rivian, who um had, a crazy IPO, never came back from that drawdown,
oh,
right? Unlike the
interesting. Yeah.
S&P.
But during
Um,
but this also like forces it to be during the time frame of my
yes,
portfolio. Like you
yes,
can't pick the start date, but yeah,
at
okay.
least for
This is
now.
not based on when I started buying, for example.
And then you could also, and I shouldn't be doing this, but you could compare it to other portfolios. So if you compare it to mine, you could see that I've had a bigger drawdown.
Okay.
My biggest drawdown was roughly 40%, more recently.
Wow.
Um, and even like during your max drawdown, mine was 36% drawdown versus 30.
So
So
you could have higher risk with bigger drawdowns and lower performance if some okay. Like
yes,
I just want to confirm that that's how we should be reading this. Higher risk,
yes,
lower performance, bigger
yes.
drawdown
And
for
that's what
Justin's portfolio versus mine. I'm not giving him
and
shit. Don't worry.
no, no, no. But what sums this up so nicely? The Sharpe ratio and the Sortino ratio, where you could
Okay.
just look at those numbers and you'll see, and I'm not gonna do a side by side, but your numbers are higher than mine, which is better. And that exactly means you have better returns for the volatility that your portfolio is going through. And that's
Okay.
why people love those metrics.
That's hilarious. No,
Um,
I'm only giving you a hard time, but
no,
I
it's
think your
fine. It's fine.
portfolio's
I
performance
deserve
has
it.
been fantastic as well. I mean, like
Oh,
some of
thank you.
this is just luck too. Like I don't control the markets or decide when things should go up or down,
No,
right?
over time, I feel like maybe you do control the markets. Like, I mean, this Micron move, it seemed too easy. Okay, correlation matrix. What I like about this is if you're looking at someone's portfolio and you're debating on investing in some of the stocks that they're holding, this gives you a sense of, are multiple holdings too correlated where maybe they're not providing any real diversification, and you could just pick one of the two stocks that are very correlated. So an example, in my portfolio, I own both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're very correlated, and you would see that their little rectangle is like bright green. So that
But
could be a red flag of like, maybe you should just invest in one and not both.
but by the way, so your whole thing has been our argument, ongoing argument about Robinhood and Bitcoin has been that those are pretty correlated. And they shouldn't be in my opinion, but you're like it doesn't matter your opinion. It has been the market has been sort of correlating them, and that's what the
Yes.
0.53 right there. You want to hover
It's
over that,
only
um,
0.53 here, but if you go down to the month view, oh, wait, er,
or maybe 1 year view.
maybe it's 3-month view, you'll see it does go up a bit to point 0.6,
Okay,
which the
what is it on
tooltip
the
calls moderately positive correlation.
okay? What's the max time frame?
Max, I think, yeah, 0.58. So it's
0.58.
all, like, close between point 0.5, point 6. Yeah, 6-month,
Okay,
point 0.6, point 0.5, yeah. So it kinda
interesting.
ranges there. So it's not like they're super, super correlated, but relative to the other stuff we hold in our portfolios, they are
They're
more
more cool.
correlated.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, we should probably move on to listener questions since we're almost out of time.
Yes, and we
Adrian,
could
you want to
definitely
hop
talk
in
about this
here?
all day.